Hello, my name is Christian. Are you married? Are you single? My question really, if you are married, is for how long? 2 months? 3 months? 2 years? Maybe you're already celebrating your 10th wedding anniversary. Kudos, you have tried. You are doing great. You are fantastic. But let me ask another question. Where are you seated? Where are you grounded? I'm saying that, have you ever considered your stance? How do you cope with the situation in your relationship? What are you doing? Are you right now seated on a time bomb? You heard me well. Are you are you seated on a time bomb? Where are you? Your thoughts? What do you know about your partner? What do you know about him? What do you know about her that you have not addressed? Are you happy? If you are happy with your situation, is he or she happy? If he or she is not happy about it, what are you doing about it? You just live in it. Every problem will solve itself. Has it ever happened like that? No problem solve itself. If you are just covering your mistakes or things that you should work on, you are just putting it under carpet. Can it not be equated to somebody seated on the time bomb? One day, it will rear its head. That's why I ask, where are you seated? Are you comfortable when your partner is not comfortable? Don't you think he or she might treat you as someone taking him or her for granted? I am just curious. If you are not concerned, you might be very brilliant, but you are not emotionally quotient. You don't have feelings of others. You don't know how your partner is thinking and how whatever you are doing, your behavior is affecting your partner. How? I must let you know that we discuss with wrong people. We, husband, we, wife, all of us, both husbands and wives, discuss with wrong people. Now you are having misunderstanding with your wife at home or your husband. You go to discuss with your friends about the problem you are having with someone else. Hey, doctor, if you are having issue, you are having some misunderstanding with your partner, and you go to discuss with your friend. Hey, nurse, if you are having misunderstanding with your husband, and you talk to your boss in the office, maybe the matron, can you imagine what James did again to me yesterday? I mentioned doctors and nurses because you administer drugs, medicine. How will it look like if somebody is sick, but you administer the medication to another person somewhere just because of proximity? How will it work? It cannot work. But this is exactly what we do. You go to your pastor, you discuss with your pastor what your wife is doing, what your husband is doing. You say, come back home to resume your unhappiness. Why don't we try to discuss this? Why don't we try to discuss with whom we are dealing with? That will solve the problem. No problem. I have noticed. I have noted. I have experienced. I have heard. Of course, I have read. No problem is solved by discussing about it. Now, you just don't discuss about your problem. You go ahead to find solution to it and discuss with whoever you're having such differences with. Stop talking to someone else. Talk to your partner about it. Whatever can be said clearly. Yes, whatever that can be said at all can be said clearly. Can be said in a way that your partner will understand it. You say he or she does not listen. He or she picks phone, watches movie, goes to office and behave normally. So why wouldn't he or she listen to you? Whatever can be said clearly. Therefore, whatever you are saying outside to someone else, please come home and say it to your partner. Huh? If you say it clearly and in a way that he or she will accept it, I mean, there can be solution. But all of us, including the pastor that preaches about home, all of us live in denial. We deny the fact that we have issues. Therefore, we don't treat them. Some even go ahead to go and drink. Some go to go and choose another partner. Ah, stop living in denial. Let everybody address the issue. Because living in denial or avoiding it is like someone seated on a time bomb. It will explode one day. One day, your wife will walk away on you. One day, your husband will walk away on you. One day, things will crash because you keep piling them, and piling them. It will happen one day. I mean, it will explode. And you are just seated there on a time bomb. If you don't give your wife audience, you don't give your husband audience, you take him or her for granted. Yes. You say, I will have you, hold you, honor you until death do us part, so help me God. And you cannot hold her or him, you cannot discuss with him or her, you are deserting him or her, and you now hate him or her, or you now prefer someone else. You have taken him or her for granted. Address the situation. If you cannot address the situation alone, please talk to someone. Talk to a counselor. And your counselor will ask you, who else will be in therapy? That's an invitation to your partner. And he or she will be invited. And look, no counselor has solution. No, you have solution within you. You are the expert. He or she, the counselor will just be curious and open your eyes to see what you did not see and begin to admire each other again. You have the solution. But the counselor will make sure that the two of you can talk, building your communication skills. This is what we lack in relationship. That is why we have conflict, serious conflict, unending conflict. And it keeps piling up and piling up and piling up. And we ignore it. We are in denial. We have issues to handle. Hello? That was why I asked you, where are you seated? What are the stances? Some people have chosen the stance of just avoiding things. No, the man is always very hungry. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just leave it. Let's just leave her. No. Or your stance might be blaming yourself. I'm the cause. It is my problem. I'm so sorry, darling. You are not helping the matter. Or when you overgeneralize it, yeah, it's just one of those things. It must happen. It must not happen. You have to address it. There's no single house that was built that built itself. Somebody built it from the foundation. From the foundation. When you are having a sign of a collapsed home, and you say there's nothing about it, you know you are going to plan for what I call plan B. Yes, that's what you're going to do. You want to run away and you are trying to be safe and I don't want to touch that area. Whatever stances you are doing that is not congruent, whatsoever stance you have, that is just say, let us keep him the way he is, let us keep her the way. No, I mind my business in this house these days and other is a stance that will explode one day. Your family, your home might crumble. I know for a very long time that what sustains some homes is because of the children, or you have a business together, or because of what people will say. What would the church say? What would my family say? What about my friends? What would they say about it? But when that what would is gone, you see, it will say crumble. Hmm? Why do you choose to deny your partner of useful communication? You talk to somebody out there. Please today, call your wife, call your husband. The same way you discuss with people outside, the tone you use, your temperament, how gentle you are, please apply it at home. When people come for counseling and I hear them, they say, and I just call my sweetheart, come and sit down, let us listen. Let us listen to each other. And he or she flare up. And I quickly draw them back to their statement. Are you sure you say, sweetheart, let us sit down the way you have just spoken to me? Or you talk to him or her anyhow? Come on, sit down here, let us. If you shout at me like that, I will not sit down with you and discuss. Eh? The way you talk to your friend when you are complaining to your husband about your husband or wife, if that is the way you have said it to your husband or wife, and she does not have a mental health issue, she's going to listen to you. The Bible says soft words chase away misunderstanding or fight. Why don't you, the same way you talk to your customers, your client in the office, your boss in the office, your colleagues in the office, why don't you speak like that to your husband or your wife at home? You can do that. If you don't do that, you take him or her for granted. That is taken for granted. And there is no home taken for granted that will stand. I repeat myself. Any spouse, any partner that takes the better half for granted will lose him or her. It's at that time, after you might have lost him or her, you will realize that there's something precious in that person I have lost. Where are you seated? How do you see your husband? How do you see your wife? Did you see him or her the way you saw him when or her when you started relationship? What is it that you were doing at that time that you no longer do? Let's get back to the drawing board. What good thing did you do at that time that you stopped doing? Were you going out together, holding hands together, eating together, drinking together, sleeping together, discussing together? Are you still doing it? And somebody might have taken somebody else for granted. You don't talk to your husband, you don't talk to your wife at home, but you are talking to someone else elsewhere. I mean, what? It is whatever you are building that will grow. You are not building a relationship with your partner. You are not building a relationship with him or her. You are building a relationship with someone else, and you now expect that there will be progress at home. It's like the illustration I gave the other time. Apply medicine to someone else, whereas another person that is healed. Give the medicine to somebody that needs it. Who are quarreling, the husband and the wife. Then who is hearing about it? Talk to somebody with whom you have differences. Address it in the simplest way he or she can understand. Even God said, come, let us come together. Let us reason together. Let us reason. There is no shortcut to reasoning with each other. Reason with each other, and there will be solution. If you don't reason with each other, if you don't reach a compromise, and you just begin to live as if nothing went wrong, I am saying, hi, Christian Matthew, tell you that you are seated on a time bomb. I have seen that done many times. I've seen great preachers divorced or separated. I've seen great people misbehaving. The Bible says, oppression. When a wise man is oppressed, he will behave as if he's foolish. When you take your wife for granted, don't always expect business as usual. Something has gone wrong. I mean, when you take your husband for granted, you see, expect to say, hey, honey, how are you? You welcome? It's not possible. Something is faulted. Fix it. Fix whatever that is faulted. Do not wait for someone to come and talk to you about it. You all know it. You know where something went wrong. Oh, no, don't label. Don't be abusive. I mean, God said, come, let us reason together. We are talking about reasoning now. You call your wife, you call your husband. Please, when can we discuss? You have your cell phone. Organize a meeting. Organize a meeting and discuss. Whatever you think you don't like, first appreciate whatever that is good in him or her. First appreciate it. That I know you are trying, I know you are good, I know you are trying your best, I know you love me, I know, but like it appears that I no longer understand you. Maybe it is me, but let us now try to discuss it. What is it that you expect from me that I'm not doing? Now, what do you think I'm expecting from you? Oh, he or she might say, I think you are expecting this. No, I'm not expecting that. This is what I'm expecting. Yes, discuss your expectations. Discuss your strength. Discuss your deficiencies. Discuss together. Don't just discuss about children's school fees, about children upkeep. No, discuss about us, the house. Discuss about the house. If you don't discuss about the house, you know what will happen? That home will crumble. I want to beg of you. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Some 10, 12 years ago, I met a particular man. I went to buy a loaf of bread. Where I met this man met me there. I met him. I cannot remember. It's an old man, and he gave me a challenge. He's a Christian. You wrote a book about never take your spouse for granted. I said, yes, sir. He said, I have it in my house. I've read it 5 times. Now, you forgot to add something. I said, what is it, sir? He said, you forgot to mention what will happen to a wife who takes her husband for granted, or the husband that takes his wife for granted. I said, sir, the book is all about that. I mentioned the evangelicals, great ministers, great preachers. I mentioned about the Orthodox. I mentioned about the Pentecostals. great women, women of faith, men of faith, that either were taken for granted or took their partners for granted and lost their homes. That is what will happen. That's why I mentioned it. I illustrated it. Hey, hey. No matter how good your wife or your husband could be, if you take him or take her for granted for a long time, the Bible says oppression makes a wise man mad. That person will react one day. Did you hear me? It's like you are seated on a time bomb. In case you want to have access to that book I just mentioned, Never Take Your Spouse for Granted, just log in to my website www.christianmatthewbooks.org. You find it. www.christianmatthewbooks.org. At 50% discount, yes. There's a promo. Oh, incidentally, that book has both digital and audio. You can download it. Incidentally, the same price till the end of this month. Never take your spouse for granted. If you took your spouse for granted, something bad might happen. Whatever you think you have built might crumble. In fact, it's like a time bomb. That was why I asked the question, where are you seated? Are you seated on a time bomb? Please think about it. I mean, you should think about it. God bless you. God bless you. Bye-bye.